story, could I have all of my actors and actresses go back to the costume trunks where you originally got your costumes, but keep your costumes on. So princesses over here, knights and king over there, trolls, animals. Great. They're just about ready to get started. Legend of the Unicorn. And before we begin, can anyone tell me what that blue thing is in the middle of our carpet? Yell it out!
Blanket!
It is not a blanket, but it is indeed a lake. This is a lake, and it is crystal clear and pure water that all the people in all the kingdom love, because it's what gives the princesses all their magic, the knights all their strength, and the animals all their adorableness. But there is one individual who does not like this lake. Can we guess who that is? The serpent has guessed himself correctly. It's the serpent. He can't stand this lake because as long as it's here, all the people will drink it instead of his poison, and they won't turn into trolls. And that, unfortunately, is where our story begins. Once upon a time, the serpent was pacing about in his dungeon, trying to come up with a plan on how to get rid of that lake. And one day, a thought struck him. He put his sword in the air and said, "Aha!
Aha!
Trolls, trolls, gather around." The trolls and the serpent huddled up to discuss the plan. They whispered, and they snickered, they sneered, and they cheered, and their heads got lower and lower as the plan got more detailed and more mischievous. In fact, the plan was so intense that the littlest troll couldn't even take it. He had to walk away. After discussing their plan, they all jumped to their feet and let out a wicked howl. Late that night, under the cover of darkness, the serpent led the trolls down to the side of the lake. They crouched down, and the serpent stuck out two long fangs that he poked into the water, pumping the water full of poison. The trolls stirred the water with their swords, and soon the water bubbled and boiled and churned, and was no longer crystal clear and pure, but dark, polluted water. The trolls stood up and let out an evil laugh. And then they did a silly dance all the way back to their dungeon. Doo-doo-doo. Let's hear a big boo for the trolls. And then the very next day, our animals woke up. They stretched and they yawned, and they skipped merrily down to the lake for their morning drink. They crouched down, cupped their hands, and were about ready to drink the water, when just then the turtle stood up and said, "Slow down, something smells." So the ladybug stood on her tippy toes and smelled the air to see if she could detect the smell. The ladybug and the turtle smelled each other, realized it wasn't each other, and soon they smelled the lake water. The ladybug jumped up. She waved her hands in the air and she said, "The lake smells! The serpent must have poisoned the lake. Quickly, we must tell King Rowan about this so people don't turn into trolls." And so, our turtle and ladybug took a trip through the Mirkwood Forest. They crossed a field of wild daisies. The daisies were so pretty and smelled so good that they couldn't help but frolic all the way through. They crossed a babbling brook and skipped across the stones to get over the water. And after a little while, they made it to the grand palace of King Rowan. They took 3 big knocks on the door. And out came His Majesty, the valiant King Rowan, and all of his woodland warriors. Go on out, everybody. Oh, go ahead, King, you can go further out. The king put his sword in the air, and he said, "Animals, what has brought you to my palace?" The little ladybug stood forward, and she said, Your Majesty, the serpent has poisoned the lake." the king put his hand in the air and he said, "Don't worry." And then the knights put their swords in the air and they roared with anger. Our king looked at his knights and he said, "I said, don't worry, everyone. Everything's fine, because when I was just a young lad, the unicorn taught me how to play a special tune on this horn. When I play the tune, it will summon her from the highest mountaintops in the hour of greatest need. And the need is great right now." So with that, our king put the horn to his lips and gave it a great big blast. "Oh, shake it out, your majesty. I think maybe something's stuck in it." "All right, and play." And everyone searched for the unicorn. They looked all the way to the east side of the kingdom. Oh, but the princesses were still in their castle. Back up, princesses. And the knights and the animals searched all the way to the west side of the kingdom. They looked behind their right shoulder, behind their left shoulder, and soon they were spinning in circles. But this only made them dizzy, so they wobbled all the way back to King Rowan. Our king put his sword in the air. "Oh, come on out, everybody, you're not done yet." And he said, "Have you found her?" Everyone said, "No!" Our only hope is that the wise princesses on top of Crystal Mountain will know what to do. Follow me, everyone. So, the knights and the animals followed the king up Crystal Mountain. Crystal Mountain was very tall and very steep, so all the people had to step very large steps and reach their arms high, high into the sky to grab a hold of the rocks. And it had just rained yesterday, so the crystal was very slippery, and they all started sliding all the way up to the left, and they slid all the way over to the right, and soon they started sliding backwards toward their audience. They were teetering on the brink. They nearly fell off the crystal cliff of Crystal Mountain, when just then the littlest knight pointed his sword in the air and he said, "Everybody, why don't we just take the stairs?" Everyone clapped their hands to their foreheads and followed our littlest knight up the twisting, winding stairs. They counted their steps as they climbed. 1, 2, 300, 497, 556, 6,194. Oh, and then they had lost count at 7,000 something or other. And all the people were so tired and so thirsty that they collapsed right in the center of the mountain. Except for the littlest knight, who died standing up. And then our little ladybug had the biggest idea. She stood up and she fluttered over to the palace gates with her last bit of energy. She knocked on the doors, and out came all the wise princesses. They took one look at the ladybug, put their hands on their cheeks and said, "Aww," because she was so adorable. And then our princess in the teal, she put her wand in the air and she said, "Let's catch her!" And so the princesses began to run after the little ladybug all the way down the mountain. "Watch out, they're gonna get you!" And then all the princesses froze. They looked to see all the people who were dying and who were somewhat revived on the mountain, and they knew exactly what to do. The princesses put their wands in the air and ran down the side of the mountain to aid all the people. And soon all the people's mouths filled with refreshing, pure mountain water. If you're using your imagination, you may even be able to feel that water. Everyone stood up to their feet and cheered, "Huzzah!" And then our Queen Nimue, queen of all princesses, that's you, my friend, she came forward, put her wand in the air, and said, "People, why are you dying on the side of my mountain anyway?" And then our knights said, "Dear Queen, the serpent has poisoned the lake. We need your help." At the word serpent, the princesses put their hands on their foreheads and screamed. Softly, magic tune, and when I whistle this tune, it will summon her from the highest mountain tops in the hour of greatest need. And the need is great right now. So with that, our Queen Nimue stood on her tippy toes, put her wand high in the air, and began to whistle. Everyone looked for the unicorn. They looked high up in trees. They looked down low under rocks, but unicorns can't fit under rocks. So they looked in front of the person behind them, behind the person in front of them, in front of the person behind the person in front of them. And soon they began to call out, "Unicorn, where art thou?" And to no avail, they hung their heads and returned to our Queen Nimue, who was turning purple in the face. Our Queen Nimue put her wand in the air, and she said, "Have you found her?" Everyone shouted, "No." She said, "Our only hope is that the unicorn is down at the lake, purifying the water as we speak. Follow me." Everyone followed our Queen Nimue through the enchanted forest. Now usually the enchanted forest is a beautiful, joyous, happy place, but today it was dark and scary and mysterious. The trees had drank some of the serpent's poison from the lake, and the trees, which were no longer friendly trees, began to throw prickers down on the ground, and everyone had to tiptoe over the prickers. Once in a while, someone would hit a pricker and jump 6 feet in the air. Don't forget to say ouch! The trees began to swing branches low to the ground. All the people had to duck under the branches to avoid getting bumped in the head. And soon there were prickers and branches, and they all had to duck and jump at the same time, and they looked much like little frogs. They thought they would never hop out of there alive, but just then they burst through the line of trees and landed at their lake. They took a quick look around to see if the unicorn had arrived. She had not. So they all crouched down and began to cry. Loud sobs. The people of the kingdom were so upset that day, but there was one individual who was not upset, and we know who that is. The serpent. The serpent came out onto his balcony, pointed his sword, and said, "Trolls, trolls, look. Come on out, trolls. Look at those pitiful people by their polluted puddle. It's pathetic. Now is the perfect opportunity for us to go around and dunk their heads into the poison enough to make them drink." So the serpent and the trolls crept all the way to the other side of the lake, where they hid behind ragweed bushes. Now the serpent had made a mistake, because if there's one thing serpents and trolls are allergic to, it is ragweed. The serpents and trolls began to sneeze uncontrollably. The knight in the baseball cap stood up. That's you. Oh, 2 of them. Okay, both knights in both baseball caps stood up. They pointed their swords at the trolls, and they said, "Hark! That bush is sneezing. Sneezing bushes don't grow this far north. That must not be a sneezing bush. That must be an ambush." Quickly, everyone, to the other side of the lake. The trolls stayed hidden, and everyone else made battle formation to the other side of the lake. The knights and the king made a line on the front lines by the lake. The princesses lined up behind the knights, and the animals lined up behind the princesses who were behind the knights. The knights and king crouched low to the ground and began to crawl over toward the trolls, who were still hiding, by the way. They crept and they creeped, and soon the trolls could hold their sneezes in no longer. The trolls put their fingers to their noses, and the trolls in the entire audience let out the loudest sneeze you've ever heard. The force of the sneeze blew the knights and king onto their backs. Watch out! Their arms and legs flailed about in the air, much like little beetles. Why the sneeze was so intense it even knocked the animals over. Could you believe that? The trolls stood up, ready for battle. But the princesses knew what to do. The princesses stood up, pointed their wands in the air, and began to whoosh magic over to the trolls, making them shrink smaller and smaller and smaller. And soon they were as tiny as ants. The knights and and king stood up ready for battle. But they took a quick look around and they saw that they couldn't see their trolls anywhere, so they looked over at the princesses and said, "Princesses, how are we supposed to fight our enemies if we can't see them?" The princesses knew what to do. They put their wands high in the air, swirled them around, and swooshed new magic over to the trolls, who began to grow taller, back to their normal size. But the princesses' wands were going out of control because they were very tired that day, and soon the trolls were as tall as trees. They were so scary that the knights took 5 steps back, and the princesses took 5 more steps back. The trolls advanced forward, and soon, there, a great slow-motion battle began. Steel clashed against steel. Sweat was pouring everywhere. The turtle and the ladybug started to cheer on their friend. The princesses began to cast magic to see if they could help the knights, but unfortunately only sparks came out of their wands. The trolls were too much for the knights to handle. The knights dropped their swords. The knights put their shields above their heads and crouched down. The trolls walked over to the knights, preparing for the final blow. They put their swords in the air, but just then they froze, because in the shields of the knights they saw something they had never seen before. Their own reflection. Why? They thought they were so ugly that they ran all the way back to their dungeon, except for the serpent who stayed. The serpent was angered that his friends had left him, so he dropped his sword, walked over to the side of the lake, stuck his arms out in front of him, and began to cast lightning over the lake, making it look clear again. The lightning hypnotized everyone in the kingdom. The knights, the princesses, the animals, and even the trolls zombie walked over toward the lake. Their arms stuck out in front of them, their eyes grew wide, and they were hypnotized into thinking that the lake was crystal clear again, although it was not. The people crouched down to take a drink. They were about to turn into trolls, except for the trolls who would be double trolls. But just then, our Queen Nimue, queen of all princesses, stood up. She said, "Wait! I remember the real way to whistle my tune," and she began to whistle. Everyone threw the water back. This angered the serpent even more. He cast yellow lightning over the lake, making the water look like lemonade. Everyone loves lemonade. They all crouched in. They were about to take a drink, when just then King Rowan stood up, and he said, "I remember how my part of the tune goes as well." He began to glass away. Everyone threw the water back into the lake. This angered the serpent even further. The serpent took 3 steps back, spun around, and cast red lightning over the lake, making the water look like pomegranate juice. No one could resist the allure of so many antioxidants. The people leaned in to take a drink. Who knows, would they turn into trolls or double trolls that day? But just then, the music of the king and queen combined was whisked away to the highest mountain peak and echoed all across the kingdom. And there, in the hour of greatest need, the unicorn did hear the music. She stopped to see the chaos that had erupted all over the kingdom. And soon, in a flash, she flashed between the serpent and the lake. And the serpent cast her spell back into the lake. Her back nearly touched the water, but the unicorn refused to yield any further. And in a rage, the serpent lunged in and accidentally pierced himself on the unicorn's horn, and he fell to the ground. Wearily, the unicorn turned, and with one touch of her horn, the lake was transformed back into crystal clear, glittering pureness again! The unicorn disappeared just as quickly as she had arrived. Everyone was so happy that they took refreshing gulps that we have caused such problems for you all, may we take a drink as well? Should we let them drink? Yes! So our trolls dropped their swords, came in and began to drink the water. Their troll helmets began to melt off, and when they stood up, they were no longer trolls, but the most adorable creatures you've ever seen. Let's hear it for the not trolls. And then everyone was so happy that one last gift from the unicorn came falling from the sky. It was a beautiful, sparkly, magical polka? It was almost a polka. It was a sparkly, magical polka. So they looked around for the polka and they couldn't find the polka. And they found themselves and they gave each other a big hug because they had found who they all truly were. And then they also found the serpent, who was still alive. Look, he's wiggling. The serpent came slithering toward the lake, and everyone made a space so the serpent could come through. They were so astonished, they took 3 steps back. The serpent rolled. Look, he's rolling like a log. He rolled into the lake and began to thrash about in the water. Soon his serpentine scales melted off. And when he stood up, he was no longer a serpent, but the most handsome chap you've ever seen! And he said, everyone, I did not mean to poison your lake. Actually, I did, but I feel bad about it. Is there any way I could make it up to you? And the little ladybug fluttered about, and she said, yes, you can teach us your silly serpent dance. Because it was the serpent's dance who had brought the polka for real. And everyone did what he did. Whatever he did with his arms, they did with their arms. Whatever he did with his legs, they did with their legs. And soon everyone started making up their own dances. There was the turtle trot, the ladybug jitterbug, the princess shake, the knight tap dance, and they were all having such a fun time that they danced for